Most people enjoy this episode, and I'm sitting here wondering what the heck happened. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I am reviewing episode 5 of The Walking Dead, Rick's Exit. Does it pay off? Is it great? Is it awesome? Today, we're going to have to get into it. We're going to jump into it. This episode is such a mixed bag. It's a very welcoming return to see all these old dead characters back. All of these old sets. That was great. I really enjoyed watching Herschel, Shane, maybe Sasha return, and everything was really, really cool where Rick was walking through the hospital. But my problem is the writing in this episode and the way everything was just delivered. Rick having hallucinations this whole episode, it started off fine with all these hallucinations. After a while, it became repetitive. Every single time he hallucinates, you can hear someone asking what his wound is. We don't know who these people are. They're just random people, and it's very, very cringeworthy. I don't like it. It's repetitive. It ruins the moment where he's walking through the hospital, you can hear the guy's like, "What's your wound?" It's just really stupid. But ladies and gentlemen, episode 5 is a very mixed bag. This is Rick Grimes we're talking about here, and I feel like his character did not go right. They hyped it up that this would be Rick's final episode. Of course, AMC, all they care about is money. Rick doesn't die in this episode. He gets flown away in a helicopter, and because AMC needs to make their extra bucks, they're going to put Rick in 3 movies now, which is...
His opponent, Bill Nelson, supports a policy of abortion for any reason. Bill Nelson...
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, this episode was a very mixed bag. I thought the writing was very, very rushed. The whole moments with Rick on the horse were just rushed. It was basically him trying to, blah, 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 get back to the place where he belongs, Alexandria. While this could be interesting, it's actually somewhat choppy. It's all over the place. You bring back these legendary actors like John Bernthal and Scott Wilson. Rest in peace, Scott Wilson. You bring them back, and they do really nothing. They're in one scene, and that's it. In the entire episode, you bring them back, and that's just, it's just not right. This episode, I thought parts of it was enjoyable, like Rick just trying to get back, but I don't think this was good for this character. Rick, he's been through so much. Why is he so wounded like this? Why would he even get stuck on a piece of rebar like this in the first place? It's just out of character. But I guess it's fine because anyone can be hurt in the show. This is probably one of the hardest episodes to review ever. Parts of me likes this episode, parts of me doesn't like this episode. I feel like the episode starts falling apart near the end. Now, I enjoyed most of it from the beginning. But it started becoming repetitive. I really didn't like Sasha. You could have had Lori, you could have had Carl, or even Del, or another character, but you bring back Sasha. It's just so anticlimactic. This whole scene where Sasha's just there doesn't feel right because Rick and Sasha really never had a good relationship. This whole scene could have completely been cut out of the episode. Then we have Rick getting to the bridge. You have this really, really bad hallucination scene where Michonne comes and everyone's just, they're smiling. I mean, I know it's a hallucination, but it's really cringeworthy. And then you see Michonne in the real world. She's like, Rick! Her actress, Danaya, whatever her name is so bad when she screams. She's like, Rick! And Rick's like, I found them. And he goes, phew, and everything explodes. And Daryl, for some reason, can shoot zombies perfectly in the head with his crossbow up on the bridge. I mean, I don't know. And then the worst of the worst has to be the ending. Jadis, she's always like, or is it an A or a B? I don't know what this means. They're probably never going to talk about it again until the movie. It's really stupid. I don't like it. It's just dumb. Oh, is he an A or a B? We don't know what this means, and they should have confirmed who the people were in the helicopter in this episode, but no, they shoved it to the side because they want people to watch the movies, blah, blah, blah. Money, 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 money. AMC is like, they're like Mr. Krabs. They remind me of Mr. Krabs. Money, money, money. Oh, and then we get Rick getting flown away. Now, it was a nice touch listening to that old music from the first ever season, but I just felt Andrew Lincoln's performance in this episode was very it was just very rushed all over the place. Normally I really like Andrew Lincoln, but him in this, he just felt so weak, and he just felt so like there's just something off. I wanted to see Rick be strong, but he was just a whiny, just a weak human being in this episode, just walking through, so weak acting. And I get it. He got a cut in his side. You know, I'm being stupid, but the worst part of them all has to be the end. The end is really bad, where you see it doesn't even show 6 months later. It doesn't even do that, so casual Walking Dead fans will be very confused. There's a big skip, and you see these people. One of them is Dan Fogler, and you just don't care at all because you've been watching Rick's final episode this whole time, and you don't really care about these characters. And then you see the worst part of them all. You see Judith, and she has Carl's hat on, she has Rick's pistol, and then she has a katana. I mean, this is some of the gayest crap I have ever seen in my entire life. You have these fanboys. Oh my god, it's Judith! Oh, she looks so cool. She has her pistol, she has her little katana, oh, she has her hat. For me, I thought it was really stupid, and it ruined the episode in my personal opinion. I'm Judith Grimes. I mean, it was so stupid. One of the big highlights in this episode, it was Herschel and Shane, and the part with Negan. Maggie confronting Negan was really, really interesting. I love how Jeffrey D. Morgan, his performance in this episode, he was just very broken. He wanted to die. He wants to die so bad. He has nothing else to live for. It's really sad, in my opinion. And, you know, he gets locked back up in the prison. Maggie, you know, she wants to kill him in this episode, but she finally decides not to kill him. Suffering in a jail would be better than killing him. It would be a bigger punishment. So I really liked some of that. I enjoyed some of the moments where, you know, Rick is hallucinating, where Rick's trying to get back. It's very intense. But, you know, him meeting Shane again, so there was just something off, where they were eating their fries, and there was just something stupid about it. It just felt so cringy. I don't know if it really worked, them eating food in the hallucination. I think it would have been better if they were just looking at the vehicle without eating the hamburger. I think that could have been cut out, but I know it's a callback back to season 1. It felt off. The part where Herschel and Rick are talking, it feels like a completely different show. It feels like I'm watching this like religious show, and they look out and everything's so beautiful looking. I mean, I get what they're trying to do here. I get it. They're trying to make everything at the farm look peaceful and beautiful, but just for some reason it doesn't work. It comes off as awkward. There's just something weird about it, and that's why it doesn't work. The whole part with him talking to Sasha and Shane, it doesn't work like they wanted it to. It just came off as weird and odd. But this episode is a mixed bag. I enjoy the explosion part where Rick destroys the bridge. That was really, really cool. But then you have, like I said, it's just so choppy. It's basically just Rick trying to get back to his group. And in my opinion, it didn't really fit. This Walker herd just comes out of nowhere. It would have been a lot better if Rick was defending his home with everyone else, and then Rick has to shoot the dynamite. But no, he's just trying to get home from this Walker herd, and we're never going to see this Walker herd again. I get what it has to do for the story, but for Rick's character, he's been in the show for 9 seasons. This was a pretty stupid way to go. And of course he survives. It's so cartoony now. It's like Rick is he's invincible. And, you know, they ruined his character because now Rick is just basically invincible. You can't kill Rick at all. And that just brings down the show in my opinion. This episode is a mixed bag. I will give it a C+. It's not awful. It's just not that great either. I was very disappointed. I expected a lot more from this episode. Instead of Rick hallucinating this whole episode and bleeding out. They should have focused mainly on Rick. They should have cut out the Maggie and Negan stuff. It should have been mainly about Rick, and then they should have showed the rest of the characters at the end. But I feel like when they left Rick's story, it felt like it really took away from the episode, you know. It should have always been about Rick. It should have mainly been focused on him. You know, when you write a script, it's always better if you focus on one character like Rick, most of the time. And I think the episode would have been a lot better if Rick was actually focused on the whole entire episode instead of, like, most of it. So I hope you enjoyed my review. C plus for me. This episode's a mixed bag. Some of it I like, some of it I don't like. It got really cartoony with this helicopter. I'm tired of the helicopter. The writing in this episode, the wake up, what's your wound, just was so repetitive, and it just became a joke near the end of the episode. The ending with Judith, I did not like. I was not a fan of the ending. And this episode was a very mixed bag. C plus for me. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down below. Comment down below. Subscribe to whatever the heck you want to do. And goodbye. Bye, everyone.